Welcome everyone! In this video, we are going to be diving into my top 5 best teams for the Little Cup. The Little Cup is a very interesting cup. It's the first Little Cup format ever that Pokemon Go Battle League introduced. And it has a bit of a stigma to it. I personally don't mind the original Little Cup. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the original version of the Little Cup, the rules are you can only have a Pokemon that is under the CP limit of 500. And it cannot have ever evolved. So only first stage Pokemon that can evolve but have never evolved. Those are the rules for the Little Cup. And again, like I said at the beginning, it has a bit of a stigma to it because there is a certain steel type / psychic type Pokemon known as Bronzor that, depending on your perspective and outlook, sort of spoils the fun a little bit, maybe ruins the spirit of what the Little Cup maybe should have been. But you know what, guys? Don't worry about it. I've got you covered in this video. You can still have fun in the Little Cup if you choose to play it with any of these 5 teams on this list, guys. So we're going to be diving into my top 5 best teams. And for those of you who have a burning desire to win, no matter what the circumstance may be, whether it's the interlude season where rankings don't matter or a regular season where you are pushing and climbing hard for rank, if you have a burning desire to win, no matter what, you can rest assured that our first 2 teams are going to have Bronzor on them, and then the remaining 3 will not have Bronzor. 2 of them will be addressing Bronzor in a fashion, and I won't give away too much, but yeah, Little Cup, I don't mind it. I still have fun no matter what, despite Bronzor most likely being everywhere in it. But I won't ramble on for too much longer, guys. Without further ado, let's dive into team number 1. All right, guys, here it is, as promised. Team number 1. Now, this team is for those of you, like I said, who have a burning desire to win no matter what, meaning you're not interested in the spice, you're not interested in off-meta picks, you just want to win, rack up the wins, despite the circumstance. Guys, I'm telling you, if you're focused on winning and you're ultra competitive or whatever it may be, this team is the team to run in the Little Cup. It might just be the best team for the Little Cup. I'm not kidding, guys. And it features Why Not on the lead, Seal as your safe swap, and Bronzor in the back. Now, quickly, Why Not is another one of those Pokemon very similar to Bronzor in this meta that is immensely bulky. It only has access to Mirror Coat as its charge move. It does not have access to any other charge moves, and it runs Counter. As we all know, Counter is one of the best fast moves you could possibly run in Pokemon Go Battle League. And Why Not on the lead wins against just about everything. But before we get into all that, let's have a look at this scorecard. Oh my gosh, straight A's! My goodness, guys, I was not kidding. This may just be the best team you could possibly run for the Little Cup, and the scorecard might back that up a little bit. For those of you who are just listening, you get straight A's with this team. You get A's all across the board with team number 1. You get an A for coverage, you get an A for bulk, an A for safety, and an A for consistency. That is insane, guys. Let's have a look at these matchups here. So Why Not on the lead is going to win lead against just about everything. The only Pokemon that you really want to swap out on with Why Not is a potential Cottony on the lead and maybe Shelmet. But we'll get into that. Cottony, though, in particular, you'll see much more commonly than Shelmet. which is why I'm going to focus on Cottony a little bit here. It absolutely shuts down Wynot, and for obvious reasons, Cottony is part fairy, so it's going to be resisting your fast move pressure, and Wynot does not hit very hard at all. So your Mirror Coat, even with stab, is not going to do very much damage to it, and as bulky as Wynot is, that charm damage just runs through anything. Eventually, everything falls to charm eventually, guys. You know what I mean. So Cottony, you are swapping out on if you do encounter it on the lead. Now you're going to swap into Seal. Okay, Seal is also on this team as the safe swap. Seal also loses to Cottony, but Seal has access to Icy Wind, and you're going to be running Lick as your fast move. So Seal on the safe swap functions best with Lick as its fast move. In general, in this entire meta, functions best with Lick. It just gives you the broadest coverage possible with Seal in the Little Cup meta. So you're going to safe swap out of that, even though you do lose to Cottony. But the key is you want to threaten Cottony with the threat of the Icy Winds. Try and grab those shields if you can. Play that to the 2 shield up against Cottony. And you will eventually lose because you will be very low from the charm, fast move pressure, and all they need to do once shields are down is hit you with a seed bomb. But you'll want to play that out to the 2 shield and try to flip it. Depending on IVs, you could flip it with Seal. But if you can't, you can come back in with either Wynot or Bronzor. At that point, Cottony will be extremely low. It'll have at least 2 debuffs on the attack, so you could foreseeably come back in with Wynot and counter it down, or get rid of it with a Mirror Shot, or you could come in with Bronzor and get ahead on energy, because Bronzor runs Confusion, and any Pokemon with a 3-turn fast move or higher, it is very valuable to be able to get ahead on energy, just because those are slower moves in terms of how many turns it takes for the move to register. So Cottony I wanted to really address, but everything else, Bronzor, technically you lose to, but you've got 2 Pokemon in the back that can handle a Bronzor on the lead with Wynot. You could actually stick in there a little bit and try and get some counter damage in, maybe bank a couple of Mirror Shots before making a play into Seal. That's how I would handle the Bronzor lead. Shelmet is another one I wanted to focus on because Shelmet has access to Infestation. That's what it runs as its fast move. And Wynot, being a Psychic type, you're going to be taking super effective fast move pressure from those infestations. But your counters are going to be hitting for neutral. And at this CP limit of 500, everything, there aren't a lot. Even Shelmet's pretty bulky, but those counters will begin to add up. That is a matchup that you will want to swap out of eventually into Seal. And everything else is just absolutely domination from this team, guys. Wynot on the lead is insane. You're going to be seeing a lot of Vullaby in your PV Poke analysis. For those of you who do some analysis on PV Poke, let me tell you something, guys. Vullaby, to my knowledge, has never been out in the wild, and it's only been available through the 12K eggs, to my knowledge. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, of course. So I don't see how it would qualify for the 500 CP limit. Even on trade, I think the lowest you can get it is in the 600s. I don't think you could even trade it to get it under 500 CP. So the simulations will include Vullaby, but I would disregard anything that you see with Vullaby. As you can see, the reason why I'm pointing that out is 5 or 6 rows up, you can see that Vullaby basically beats every Pokemon on this team. I don't think you'll see a Vullaby. If you do, then I would stand corrected. But I don't think that Vullaby would qualify because it has not been available in the wild to my knowledge. Again, definitely correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So for now, I would disregard Vullaby. Outside of all of those core breakers like Shelmet and Cottony, those are really the only 2 major core breakers for this team. If you really, like to rack up the wins, maybe you're super competitive and you really love winning. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. As you can see on this scorecard, this team gets A's all across the board. A for coverage, A for bulk, A for safety, A for consistency. May just be the best team you could possibly run in the Little Cup. And that is Why Not on the lead, Seal as your safe swap, and Bronzor in the back to close the game strong. That is team number one, guys. That is quite a stacked team, I must say. But without further ado, let's dive into team number two. And here we go, guys. Team number two. Yet another team, for those of you who are very much focused on winning, with a very solid team. You just love running strong, solid teams. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. And here's another solid team for you with Bronzor. I wanted to have the first two teams feature Bronzor because I'm sure many of you might have one and are maybe looking for a very good team to build around it. So I wanted to get the first two teams with Bronzor. And here's another one. Another powerful Pokemon in this meta, Dino on the lead. Dino runs Dragon Breath, Body Slam, and Crunch. Shelmet as your safe swap, and Bronzor to close the game strong yet again. You could utilize Bronzor as the safe swap as well, but the structure of this team is basically Dragon Double Steel, a very solid team comp idea, I suppose, that it transcends different metas and different leagues. Dragon Double Steel is a powerful line, very similar to Poison Double Dark, another team comp that transcends different types of metas, performs well no matter what. So here we have a Dragon Double Steel team for the Little Cup version. So yeah, again, Dino is another Pokemon that is extremely powerful. I think it's ranked in the top 5 of PvPoke in terms of rankings for the Little Cup overall. And that is because it beats Bronzor. It beats a lot of things. You really have to be concerned with Ice types and Charmers, of course. And that's why we've got 2 Steel types in the back. So let's have a look at the scorecard here. And not bad. That is not a bad scorecard at all. For some reason, guys, when you're team building on PvPoke with Dino, PvPoke for some reason does not see Dino as a safe Pokemon. It is extremely difficult to get a safety score any higher than a C, no matter the team comp with Dino, it seems. So this is basically as good as it gets for a team featuring Dino. And outside of the C for safety here, we get an A for coverage, an A for bulk, and a B for consistency. That is amazing. So let's have a look at the matchups here. So Dino on the lead is going to do very well. Bronzor lead. Of course, with your dark typing, you're going to be double resisting that fast move pressure. This is why Dino is so powerful in this meta, because Bronzor is going to be quite prevalent. You can bet the house on that, guys. So it's important to have a couple of Pokemon that can deal with Bronzor on your team. And you have that by a mile with Dino. Dino wins in all shielding scenarios, I believe, or I may be mistaken. I know for sure it wins the 2 shield because you're double resisting the fast move pressure. And I believe it does win the 1 shield. I think it's the 0 shield where Dino can struggle against Bronzor. And that is because Dino is not the bulkiest Pokemon around, especially if you don't have PvP optimized IVs. So we put Dino on the lead to set you up for the most success up against all of those Bronzor leads that you are bound to run into. So if you encounter Bronzor on the lead, you can stay in there. You can play out the 2 shield. You will win that. You just go straight crunch on it. You don't even need to bait with Body Slam. 1 crunch does more than 50% of Bronzor's health, and that is insane because Bronzor is extremely bulky. So if you can chunk 50% of its health despite having it resist your fast move pressure, you are in a good spot. So that's the Bronzor lead. You could also safe swap into Shelmet or into the Bronzor Mirror. Guys, let me tell you something. If you are familiar with the Mandibuzz mirror matchup or the Azumarill mirror matchup or the Umbreon mirror matchup, you can times that by 10 in terms of would rather want to watch paint dry than, than to watch that mirror matchup. It is quite painful to endure the Bronzor mirror matchup. You see a lot of timeouts for that reason in the Bronzor mirror matchups. So I would avoid that if you could. That's why I would stay in and take out the Bronzor, get it out of the way, and you will have a good game from there. Once Bronzor is out of the way, you'll have a solid game. So the dynamic of this ABB style team is both Pokemon don't really want to see a fire type, although Bronzor performs extremely well against all of the strong fire types in this meta. It is that good. So having a dragon on the lead, of course, you'll be resisting any fire type damage. And the Dragon Breath fast move pressure is OP. So one lead that you don't want to see that you absolutely want to swap out on is Wynot on the lead. I don't think Wynot will be quite as common as Bronzor, but you may see it. Wynot became much more accessible since the Little Cup was around. I believe it was hatching from 5K eggs for quite some time. So a lot more people may have access to Wynot. So you may see it a lot more than we saw it the first go around with the original version of the Little Cup. You don't want to see Wynot because Wynot runs counter and you are a dark type, and Wynot will just counter you down. It will hang in there, withstand that Dragon Breath fast move pressure, and counter you into oblivion. And you don't want to stay in on that. You'll want to safe swap into Shelmet. You could also safe swap into Bronzor. That's the safer swap, although Shelmet is the safe swap on the team. It's actually your best answer to Wynot. Because it does run Infestation and it has a very clean win over Wynot. So it might be a better play to go into Bronzor on the Wynot leads. You do still win it. It's just not as clean of a win as with Shelmet. And you never, ever want to go into, if you're safe swapping, you never want to safe swap into your best option. You always want to go into your soft counter, not your hard counter. Shelmet on the lead, you'll also want to swap out on. You could go into the mirror match for that one as well. That one's not as bad as the Bronzor mirror, not gonna lie, guys. But it's not that much better. But Shelmet does pose some problems for Dino as well. Again, with that dark typing, you're taking super effective damage from Shelmet's infestations. You can go in the Bronzor. I would consider going in the Bronzor as well. Because they may not be familiar with that matchup. They may think that, you know, they're doing neutral damage with their infestations. They could stay in, and if they do, you can win that. The Dino Mirror, you're getting out of there. That's a tricky one as well, because you don't want to lose your Dino. Just in case they have a fire type in the back, you want to preserve the Dino. So you may want to go into Bronzor and try and get shields down. They have to shield in that matchup to win it. Take it to the 2 shield, and then by then it'll be low enough to where you can Dragon Breath it down and not take too much super effective damage from their Dragon Breaths. And you should be good to go from there. Everything else, Dino's going to dominate on the lead. Dino is incredibly powerful. Of course, Cottony, you're getting the heck out of there. That's why we have 2 steel types on this team for the Cottonies and the other Charmers. The other prominent Charmer in this meta is Spritzee, which can also core break a little bit. You'll still want to go into Shelmet, despite the difference between Cottony and Spritzee, of course, is that typing. Cottony has a grass subtyping, so your fast move pressure from Shelmet is neutral, whereas Spritzee is just resisting it with the fairy typing. That's what makes Spritzee kind of tricky, but it can be overcome. Any team with Bronzor can overcome just about anything. but for Spritzy on the lead, if you do encounter it, go into Shelmet, try and grab shields, and then if the Spritzy's not gone, you're going to want to come in with Bronzor and try and play that out. But other than that, that is team number 2. Solid team for team number 2. A for coverage, A for bulk, C for safety, and a B for consistency. Not bad at all. That is team number 2. Dino on the lead, Shelmet on the safe swap, and Bronzor to close the game strong. With all that said, let's hop into team number 3. All right, guys, here we go. Team number 3. The rest of the teams will not have Bronzor on them, I promise. These next 3 teams are sort of teams to... they're sort of anti-meta teams, but they're very good teams in general for the Little Cup. And that is exactly what we have with team number 3. It happens to be a triple water team. I wasn't trying to do any sort of meme team. This team is actually quite powerful despite you having 3 water types on the same team. And it runs Wooper on the lead, Seal as your safe swap, and Ducklet in the back to close the game strong. So this is a solid team, guys. Again, despite it having 3 water types on the same team, it is very powerful. Wooper on the lead will win the 2 shield against any Dino lead that you might run into. You will also win the 2 shield against Bronzor. You can go straight Mud Bomb and beat Bronzor on the lead. The only lead you'll want to watch out for is Cottony. But before we dive into the matchups, let's have a look at the scorecard here. And there we go, guys. Solid scorecard, my goodness. I wasn't sure that it was possible to get a scorecard like this while also not having Bronzor on the team. It actually took me by surprise, and this is quite nice. You get a solid A for coverage. You do get a C for bulk. That is okay. You don't have a ton of bulk in this meta outside of Bronzor, Cottony, and why not? So if you don't have any one of those on your team, the bulk score is not going to be very high, but you cannot complain with a C. That is still pretty good. You get a solid B for safety and a B for consistency. That is amazing, especially considering that all 3 of these Pokemon have a water typing. That is insane to get a scorecard like this. That just goes to show how powerful this team will be in the Little Cup. And again, it does run Wooper on the lead, so... it does say here on this breakdown here that you have a narrow loss to Bronzor. Disregard that, because on Bronzor, you do win the 2 shield. This is taking into account the 1 shield scenario. The 2 shield scenario, you absolutely win with Wooper on the lead, and you will want to take out the Bronzor if they did some dirty analysis. They didn't do some deep analysis. Dirty analysis, for those of you who are unfamiliar, side note, is just if you have a quick peek at, you do a team builder, you have a quick peek at the X's and O's here, and then you don't do any further analysis. But if you go into the battle simulator, you put in Wooper, and you put in a non-XL Bronzor, which is what most people are going to be utilizing if they go with Bronzor. I don't think that there will be many XL Bronzors, but I will not count it out. There will absolutely, I'm not saying there will not be any XL Bronzors. There will absolutely be XL Bronzors, but the majority of Bronzors that you see will be level 40 Bronzors. So the way I ran the sims on this one is I punched in the IVs for the an average level 40 Bronzor. I think rank 125 Bronzor. That's the average Bronzor that you'll see, something in that range. That's what I did all my simulations for Bronzor. Wooper will beat Bronzor on the lead, going straight Mud Bomb. And if things go awry, you can still beat Bronzor with Seal if you somehow lose alignment or you somehow lose to an XL Bronzor with Wooper. You can easily come in with Seal and take out the Bronzor, no problem. You just go straight Aqua Tail on it, and you will be doing super effective fast move pressure with your licks. Same goes for Why Not, actually. Why Not, you'll want to swap into Ducklet immediately. You don't want to stay in. Why Not is just far too bulky. It does win the 2 shield against Wooper. You want to come in with Ducklet, try and grab shields. If you can land that big Brave Bird, by all means, that would be amazing. Any sort of damage that you can do that can really chunk the health of Why Not is much welcomed in that matchup. But you'll want to come in with Ducklet and try and flip switch advantage with it. If you don't, the Why Not should be either severely debuffed from your bubble beams or have a bunch of its health missing from landing a Brave Bird. And by then you can come in with Seal and have a good game from there. Shelmet. Shelmet's pretty bulky, and it does get to those body slams at a very fast rate. Shelmet has access to body slam and bug buzz. And your mud bombs, it's just going to out bulk you, basically. You can't go body slam on it because that, of course, is resisted. And the mud bombs, they don't do enough to warrant staying in on Shelmet. You'll want to safe swap into Seal because Ducklet is your best answer to the Shelmet. So you want to go in with your soft counter again. So safe swapping Seal into Shelmet leads. Dino. Again, like with Bronzor, you win the 2 shield against Dino, and this is with the best IVs possible. This is the rank 1 Dino. You do beat it in the 2 shield. You don't have to be afraid of that Dragon Breath fast move pressure. You just play out the 2 shield, you go straight body slam, and you will beat Dino. And the reason why is because you outpace. Mudshot only takes 4 mud shots to get to a body slam, and Dino, it would take 6 of your mud shots for it to get to its body slam. So you thoroughly outpace Dino to the neutral body slams, and rest assured that if you encounter Dino in the lead, you will win lead if you play out the 2 shield. So that is Dino. Cottony is, this is why I built this team for Cottony. You do lose that in all scenarios. You just can't do enough fast move pressure, and body slam does not hit Cottony hard enough to pull out the win. So with that, it's good that we have 2 Pokemon on this team that can absolutely handle Cottony. Seal, depending on the shielding scenario, can do some things against Cottony, so you'll want to safe swap into that because Ducklet is actually your best answer to Cottony. So you'll want to safe swap into Seal, get off as many icy wins as you can. You can try and bait with Aqua Tail. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. If they no-shield that is just awful, and you kind of wasted a bunch of energy that could have been spent toward a potential icy win that would hit it for super effective and debuff it. So I don't think it's worth it to bait on Cottony when you safe swap into Seal. I think you just go straight icy win. Even if they shield, you're still going to be debuffing them and taking more and more of the sting off of those charms. So you safe swap in the Seal and look to play that out. By then, if they do want to play out the 2 shield and they do take you out, you can come back in with Wooper. That would be a bit risky if shields are down. If shields are down, definitely come in with Ducklet and look to finish off the Cottony. Those are the main matchups really for this team. Team number 3 is looking pretty solid as well, guys. You get a solid A for coverage, you get a C for bulk, a B for safety, and a B for consistency. That is fantastic. That's an amazing scorecard for a triple water team. I just wanted to build a solid team that could really do very well in this meta. It just happens to have triple water, so that could be even better depending on your perspective. So that's team number 3. Wooper on the lead, Seal on the safe swap, and Ducklet to close the game strong, hopefully with a Brave Bird. And with all that said, let's have a look at team number 4. All right, guys, team number 4, another super solid team for the Little Cup, and it runs Vulpix on the lead, Cottony as your safe swap, and Shelmet in the back to close the game strong. This is another solid team that addresses a lot of the hyper meta Pokemon that you will see in the Little Cup. Vulpix on the lead is going to do extremely well against the Bronzors. You're going to do just fine up against Cottony, of course, on the lead if you happen to run into it. Vulpix is actually a very strong Pokemon in general in any Little Cup format. So let's have a look at the scorecard here. Not bad. You get a solid B for coverage, B for bulk, you get a C for safety, and a B for consistency. This is a decent scorecard. Not bad at all for the Little Cup. And let's have a look at the matchups. Vulpix on the lead again. You got to run the Sims, guys. If you're just doing dirty analysis, you're just having a glance in the team builder that doesn't give you the whole story on these Bronzor matchups. First of all, it's going with the XL Bronzor, which has been fully maxed out with 0, 15, 15 IBs, or I'm sorry, the XL rank 1 is 4, 15, 15. I'm not sure you're going to see a ton of those. I think you're going to be seeing hatches or hundos that people may have had, kicking around. I don't think people are going to spend the dust on the XL. They may have one left over from the original introduction of the Little Cup. If you do see that, you'll still do fine in the 2-shield. You still win that in the 2-shield. But again, take these Bronzor wins with a grain of salt. It is extremely slightly overrated in that sense. But the Bronzor lead, you're going to want to stay in on, of course. That's how this team is built. It's built to beat Bronzor on the lead. It's built to beat Cottony on the lead, because a lot of people are going to be running Cottony on the lead in anticipation for all of the dinos. So you want to. This is what this team is targeting. Bronzor and Cottony on the lead primarily. You'll do fine against other leads as well, but that's what you're really targeting. So Bronzor you're staying in. Of course you're staying in on Cottony. If you're met with a why not, that's one that you will not want to stay in on. You're going to safe swap in the Cottony on why not leads. You want to try and draw out a fire type. So that Vulpix can come back in and take it out, because Cottony is bulky enough to withstand the super effective fast move pressure from the fire types, and that charm damage, although resisted, really digs in on these fire types in this Little Cup format. It's insane. You don't want Shelmet to see a fire type, because if you're familiar with the Bug Steel typing, fire types are an absolute nightmare. That's why you're swapping in the Cottony in just about every situation. So on the why not lead, Cottony's going to draw out the fire type, because most why nots will have an answer for Cottony. If they're doing their research and they're building a strong team behind why not, they're going to have answers to Cottony. So you want to draw that out, because it's likely going to be a fire type, which you don't want to see with your Shelmet. Draw it out with Cottony. Do as much charm damage as you can. Throw your charge moves. Every bit of damage helps for when you come back in with Vulpix. You will have a health advantage, and you'll be able to take out that fire type. And once the fire type is out of the way on a why not team, you should be fine. They're going to come back in with the why not, then you can come in with Shelmet, and Shelmet will clean up the game for you. Dino, this one is another deceptive one. Vulpix does not beat Dino. This is inaccurate as far as I have seen with my research and analysis. In the Vulpix Dino matchup, you don't win that. That's not one that you'll want to stay in on. For Dino, you'll want to go into your soft counter of Shelmet. Disregard this slight win that you see here on the team builder. That's not accurate by my analysis. I ran the Sims for the 2-shield, the 1-shield, and the 0-shield with Dino and Vulpix. And Vulpix does not win in any shielding scenario. So I think this is a minor error here. For that reason, you're going to want to go into Shelmet. again, to draw out a fire type, because Cottony is your best answer to Dino, so you want to go into your soft counter. That is how this team is designed, by the way, is to address Dino on the lead. You got 2 Pokemon that handle Dino, no problem. And everything else is you're gonna do just fine with this team. Ducklet can be a bit tricky. Those of you who are familiar with the Little Jungle Cup, you know that Ducklet and Cottony, those are very close. But you'll want, if you encounter a Ducklet on the lead, you can tank a Bubble Beam just to try and get off a Body Slam to chip at the health, but I think you just go straight into Shelmet. Shelmet does have a narrow loss to it, but you get to those Body Slams very fast, and they do add up. If you happen to no-shield a Brave Bird, that's fine, because it's going to be severely debuffed, and you can come back in and play that out from there. But that is about it when it comes to team number 4. Very solid team that really addresses the hyper meta that you were bound to see. Hyper meta being Cottony, Bronzor, Wynot, and Dino. This team addresses all of those very well. So if you're looking for a solid anti-meta team that still performs well against the rest of the meta, this team might be for you. Team number 4. And that is Vulpix on the lead, Cottony on the safe swap, and Shelmet to close the game strong. And with all that said, let's hop into team number 5. All right, guys, last but certainly not least, we've got team number 5. Now, for team number 5, I wanted to give you a solid, prototypical anti-meta team, which means that it's built to counter the meta. And that is what we have for team number 5. It does not score very high. Gonna be honest, guys, not gonna lie. The scorecard will not knock your socks off by any means, but team number 5 is all about functionality. And it's all about fun, because this is a fun team. Team number 5, we've got Alolan Sandshrew on the lead. We all by now have access to it. It did just have a community day. I'm sure many of you have one in your Pokedex, just waiting to unleash on the Little Cup. So you're going to have Alolan Sandshrew on the lead, Ducklet as your safe swap, and Frillish in the back to close the game strong. Team number 5 is a fun one for sure. Alolan Sandshrew is kind of a sleeper pick, to be honest, in this meta. It did extremely well in the first go-around of the initial introduction of the Little Cup quite some time ago. And that's because it has access to Night Slash, which hits those powerful psychic types for super effective damage. And you get to them at a very fast rate. So before we dive into the matchups, let's have a look at the scorecard. Like I said, guys, the scorecard is not going to knock your socks off by any means. Disregard this. This is all about functionality and countering all of the Bronzongs, countering all of the Wynots, and the Cottonys, and everything in between. So, let's have a look at this here. Again, this Bronzor stuff where Bronzor literally beats everything, and the team builder here. Disregard that, because you win the 2 shield. Of course, you are a steel type. You're resisting that fast mid pressure. It's not going to do enough to take you out before you can land the big Night Slash on it and take it out. So you're going to stay in there on the Bronzor lead. If things go awry, if you go something goes wrong, you still have Frillish on this team to also handle the weakened Bronzor. Why not? This is why we have this backline here. You're not staying in on why not. Why not? Absolutely shuts out Alolan Sandshrew, and that is for obvious reasons. You're taking double super effective damage from those counters. You are getting out of the why not lead into Ducklet just as fast as you can. You'll want to play that out. They may stay in. If they swap out, you'll want to play that mid-game matchup out and try and flip switch advantage. Switch advantage is important on a why not lead. But if you can't, you do come back in with Sandshrew, and then if they come back in with the why not, you've got Frillish in there. Frillish dominates why not, in case you're wondering. It's not particularly close. because obviously Frillish is the pre-evolution of Jellicent, which we are all familiar with by now. And Jellicent absolutely dominates the counter users, with the exception, of course, of Obstacoon and Scrafty, of course. But I digress. Shelmet, you're going to do just fine against. You just go straight Night Slash there. Dino is why this team was built. Dino leads. We are targeting those ever so common Dino leads for the Little Cup with this team. Dino and Cottony are what we're targeting on the lead. You're staying in there all day. You're going to win lead on Dino. They're going to swap out of that. And then you can align appropriately from there. Seal is tricky because Seal is pretty bulky and it's double resisting your fast move pressure while doing neutral damage in terms of fast move pressure to you. So you will want to swap out of that into your Ducklet and try and play that out. It's a team effort between Ducklet and Alolan Sandshrew for Seal on the lead. Of course, you don't want Frillish anywhere near it if it's running Lick. If it's running Ice Shard, it's a different story. Frillish can actually do very well there. Vulpix, any fire type, you're out of there. That's why we have this backline. Any fire type, you are out of there just as fast as you can into your Ducklet. The most common fire type that you may run into would be Vulpix. That is the strongest, highest ranked fire type in this meta. So if you're met with a Vulpix on the lead, you're getting the heck out of there. Again, you're taking double super effective damage from that fast move pressure. You don't want to tank any of that. So you're going to go into Ducklet and look to play that out. The reason why Ducklet is such a powerful safe swap is because it can really threaten shields with the threat of a Brave Bird. And you also have excellent baiting potential with Bubble Beam. So Bubble Beam Brave Bird is the recommended moveset for this meta, just in case you are wondering. Cottony, you're staying in there all day. That's why we have this team here. Ducklet, you're going to stay in there all day on. And you're going to have a good time with this team, despite this horrendous scorecard. It's not always about the scorecard, just so that you guys know. It is about functionality first and foremost, and how you can address what you're seeing most commonly in whatever meta you are playing in. So that is team number 5. Alolan Sandshrew on the lead. Powder Snow, Night Slash, Blizzard, Ducklet as your safe swap. Bubble Beam, Brave Bird, Wing Attack, and Frillish in the back to close the game strong. And that about wraps it up, guys, for my top 5 best teams for the Little Cup. Little Cup, like I said, personally, I don't mind it. I'm going to have fun in it. I'll be playing some of it. And it does come out alongside the Great League. So if you don't want to bother with the Little Cup, you definitely have the Great League available to you. But you know what? You know, the Great League is I love the Great League as much as the next person, but you know, I do get tired of seeing all of the same team comps over and over again. So the Little Cup might be nice to, you know, mix things up a little bit, have a little bit of fun. So I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.